Hello, hello world. Thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who do not know me yet, my name is Dr. Princess Fumi. I'm a board certified psychiatric mental health doctor of nurse practice out in Arizona, and of course some other parts of the country in America. Others call me your compassionate trauma care maestro, and then of course the Princess of Suburbia on social media. So if you have not gotten a chance to kind of take a look at the things that I do, please check me out on YouTube at The Princess of Suburbia, or you can also check me out at the International Diaspora Network. For those who are great at just listening, of course, my podcast, Tear the Veil with Dr. Fumi, Fumi, PsychDNP. You can reach it, you can see that, you can listen on almost every platform that you can imagine. All you have to do is just Google it. Of course, one is iHeartRadio and Spreaker. So, thank you for joining me today. What do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about the impact of social media. Let's talk a little bit about that. The impact of social media, not only on just our youths, right? Because we know that it is ravaging through our youths, particularly in the situation where during the COVID, most of our teenagers, youths found themselves, but most times by themselves in the house, right? They're in the home and they're mostly on internet. So what is the impact of social media? When you talk to some parents says, well, it's fine. When you talk to others, they will literally give you examples of how the internet has really kind of played a bad role in the lives of their children. I remember when I was growing up, right, and when internet was just fairly new. What we used internet for was completely different from what is being used right now for. Right back then, we had games, not games that are violent games, just fun games that allowed you to interact with other people in a very healthy manner. We had platforms for kids, for children. We watched Bernie and all kinds of stuff that we did back then. That right now it's a little bit different. Social media right now, depending on the platform that you're talking about, is you have a lot of not just violence, you have a lot of people that are pulling people down, you have cyberbullying. I mean, all sorts of things that you can imagine that we never went through that now our children are going through. So it is incumbent upon parents to keep an eye. I know that there are some parents, they've worked hard and they get home and all they want to do is just breathe, to be able to sigh, to be able to just be by themselves for a minute. And so what they do is they leave their kids on the internet for a long time. The average hours of that some of these kids that I even take care of talk to me about is unfathomable. You have kids that are allowed to just stay on the internet for a whole day. You have some that is like 6 hours a day, and you're wondering why their brains are being battered with information, disinformation, misinformation, things that are not even good. You have situations where even kidnappers connect with kids on the internet and draw them out of their homes. The internet, which used to be a very, very safe place, have now become very, very unsafe. You have kids that have been put down because of the way they look, and because of that, they begin to develop eating disorders. You have kids right now that they wanted to be a part of a group, and because of that, they end up hooking up with, you can't even imagine the kind of people that they hook up with. That because of that, they're beginning to experience depression, they begin to experience anxiety, they begin to experience eating disorder, so many bad things that can happen. But here's the deal. There are also great things that can happen because of the internet. It's just that right now, we live in a world right now where if you're not careful and don't keep an eye on what your kids are watching, don't keep an eye on what your kids are doing, you might end up being one of the parents that will regret not doing so. You have kids that are sharing information that are not even true, that are not even real, and they're sharing it with each other. And you have kids that have developed suicidal thoughts, that have actually attempted, even on social media, to allow everybody to watch them attempt it. This is what we have to contend with right now. These are the things we have to contend with. Then we have teachers that are not given the permission to be able to do and really teach. So what do we have here? We have teachers many people that are dropping like flies, no longer want to teach because they just don't know what to teach. They don't know what they're supposed to do so that they don't get, bullied out of teaching. People are literally being bullied out of teaching. And yet at the same time, we have parents that are not keeping an eye on their kids at home either. So what do we have here? We have kids that are developing anger outburst. We have kids that are developing something that I call intermittent explosive disorders. You have kids that are developing eating disorders. You have kids that are developing depression and anxiety. You have kids that right now that what they're thinking about is suicidal thoughts and addiction. You even have kids that are experiencing homicidal. Can I say that again? Homicidal ideation, where they go out and stand by people, nobody touch them, and all they think about is how to whack that person. Kids, I'm talking about kids. I'm talking about kids that are below 18 years old. I'm talking about kids that are even a particular one that I treated before, told me that he has been having it since he was 5 years old. But because his parents were in the middle of divorce, they didn't pay good attention to him. And he'd been having it. And the fact that this kid turned 18 and had not even hurt somebody, that is miracle in itself. And when he turned 18, he sat the mother down and said, look, I'm 18 years old now. I have a right to go seek mental health for myself. You have a choice. You either join me in this journey or you don't. If you don't, get out of my way, because at 18 now, I'm no longer cute. If I end up hurting somebody out there, I'm no longer cute. I'm gonna go to prison. So let me go get the help. And thankfully, the mother, even though she was scared, followed this kid. This kid that I'm talking about now is over 22 years old, thriving because he sought help. And because the mother dared to stop, a little bit late, but still did it. Dared to stop her tracks, her business, and begin to pay attention to what is going on with the kid. So is social media harmful? At this point right now, most times it is. There are some that it doesn't. It's all in how you use it. Even as adults, it's all in how we use it. After all, we see a lot of adults now that are being upset. A lot of adults that are getting wrong information, and they're making decisions, life decisions, terrible life decisions on what is wrong, what is not true. Now, we have this little thing now that is called AI, something artificial intelligence, which is a little bit scary. I'm going to talk about that some other time. Because I tell you one thing, the first time when I saw it was on a show where a character wanted to make sure that his dad does not marry this woman. And so what did he do? He used that artificial intelligence and copied exactly the tone, the voice of this woman. And this woman was reporting this young man to the authorities for something. And when the dad heard it, instead of the dad to sit down and try to find out, is this true? He acted on it and destroyed his whole life, destroyed his marriage, destroyed everything because of this artificial intelligence. So even though this is great, is a great tool, but it's also scary, because as we move into elections in America, as we move into elections all over the world, can you imagine how this artificial intelligence can be misused if our government, if our people do not put a cap on it right now? It can be destructive. Just like social media, it was meant for good, but now it's becoming destructive. So my discussion to you today is to you to employ your parents, that you need to take. You cannot put your responsibility and lay it at the feet of a teacher. That teacher has his or her own family too. You cannot lay it at the feet of a school, especially when you have suspected that something is going on. Especially when you know that something is not quite right about your child. You cannot lay it at the platform, at the foot of a school. Because frankly, the school was not there when you had that baby. But I do understand too the role of a school, right? I understand too the role of a principal. I understand too the role of a teacher who finds something that is a little bit not up to par with that kid. It is their responsibility to report it so that things can be done. And after you've reported it, there's nothing else you can do. It's now left for that parent to do what they need to do. So parents, to you parents who are sitting up there and allowing your kids to sit on social media for 24/7, I'm urging you right now, it is time to crack down. You do the cracking down. Don't wait on the politicians. Don't wait on the government. Don't wait on the school. You did the crackdown. You did the crackdown in your own home. I had a 12-year-old that started smoking. And guess what? I said, how do you find out? He said, well, I said, where did you get your first one? He said, I got it from dad and mom. While you're adults, and I cannot say anything where that is because you are adults. It's also important that we lay examples for our kids. If you know that you don't want your kid to be smoking weed, then don't be smoking weed in front of your kid. Yes, you're an adult, but don't be smoking weed. That's the same way. Even with social media, you have to learn. We have to model good practices of ways that we can use social media in front of our kids. So I hope I'm touching somebody's life today. I hope I'm making an impact in somebody's life today. There is danger on social media if we choose to ignore it. Until next time, be inspired, be motivated, be of sentimental value. Understand that you, my friend, you are the hero in your life story. Do not allow anybody to rewrite your story. Please like, comment, share. My YouTube, The Princess of Suburbia. Of course, it's called LifeRehabTV and International Diaspora Network. And of course, Tear the Veil with Dr. Fumi, my podcast. Until next time, bye for now.